Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm diving into the two giants of the video game fighting world, Tekken versus Street Fighter. These franchises have existed for decades and they have just had insane competitive scenes with stuff like Evo. They also have a unique cast of characters and a unique set of moves. And they also both have their franchises represented in the greatest fighting game of all time, Super Smash Bros. There's no denying the impact these two giants have had on the world of video games. Street Fighter, which is arguably the more recognizable of the two, was first released in 1987 in the arcades, and Tekken later releasing in 1994 as an arcade game and later ported to the PlayStation in 1995. These two giants have been around forever and they have pioneered a new genre of gaming known as fighting. They've also sparked some incredibly competitive communities in the gaming world as well. So today I'm diving into the differences between these two video game giants and we will talk about pretty much, I'm not going to say which one is better, I'm going to let you guys decide, but I'm going to talk about Street Fighter versus Tekken. Street Fighter is a video game franchise that focuses on 2D fighting with a strong emphasis on special moves and combos. It features a super meter that allows players to perform powerful attacks. Known for its diverse roster including iconic characters like Ryu, Chun-Li, and Guile, each character has their own unique moves and playstyle. The original Street Fighter was released in 1987 by Capcom. However, it wasn't until Street Fighter II in 1991 on the SNES that the series gained immense popularity, defining the fighting game genre. Over the years, numerous sequels and spin-offs have been released, including Street Fighter III, Street Fighter IV, and Street Fighter V. The franchise continues with the recently released Street Fighter VI in 2023. The original Street Fighter also introduced players to the concept of fighting games with two-player competition. Players could select from a limited roster of characters and engage in one-on-one battles. The controls were simple, use a joystick and two buttons for attacks. While it laid the groundwork, the game was not widely popular due to its clunky mechanics and limited character selection. In Street Fighter II: The World Warrior, released in 1991, it revolutionized fighting games by introducing a larger roster and distinct special moves for each character. Combo systems were introduced, allowing players to string together attacks. The game also popularized the concept of competitive play in arcades. It spawned several updates, including Street Fighter II Champion Edition, which allowed for mirror matches, and Super Street Fighter II, which added 4 new characters and improved graphics. In Street Fighter III, it introduced a completely new cast of characters and refined gameplay mechanics, including the parry system that allowed players to counter attacks more effectively. While Street Fighter III was critically acclaimed, it struggled to capture the same level of popularity as Street Fighter II. Street Fighter IV marked a revival, as it marked a significant return for the series with 3D character models and a 2D gameplay style, and it reinvigorated interest in fighting games. It also introduced the focus attack system and the super combo system, which just made the gameplay even stronger. Subsequent versions like Super Street Fighter IV added new characters and features. Up to the most recent Street Fighter game until 2023, Street Fighter V, released in 2016, launched with a focus on online play and esports. It also received multiple updates, including Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, which added new characters and modes. The V system introduced the V gauge, allowing players to perform unique character abilities. It was initially criticized for its lack of content at launch, but it gradually improved with a bunch of updates. Finally, we've made it to Street Fighter 6, released in 2023, and this game brought some new innovations, including new mechanics like the drive system, which incorporates several offensive and defensive options. The graphics and the style feature a modern art style with vibrant visuals and really just incredibly improved animations. It also, guess what, added new characters and modes as it expanded the roster with returning favorites and new fighters, which also introduced a single-player story mode. Truly, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are the same nowadays. While Street Fighter is known for its gameplay with its spacing and its 2D fighting, it's also known for its iconic characters. Street Fighter has had many different characters throughout each game, each one of them representing different cultures and different fighting styles. Some of the more famous ones being Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and Guile. Ryu and Ken, often seen as the faces of the franchise, their rivalry and their similar movesets have become iconic. In fact, not many people know or even remember in the first Street Fighter, Ryu had red hair. Chun-Li was the first female fighter in the series, and she's known for her speed and her powerful kick attacks. Characters like Blanka, Guile, and Zangief showcase a range of fighting styles and cultural backgrounds, making the roster feel global. Many characters also have rich backstories with ongoing character arcs seen throughout the series, especially in games like Street Fighter V. The Street Fighter series has also been a staple in competitive gaming, particularly at events like EVO, where players showcase their skills, with the most iconic EVO moment ever being EVO Moment 37, which took place in 2004, and it really showed off the beauty of just executing that perfect combo in Street Fighter. The franchise has also inspired numerous adaptations in media, including animated films, a live-action movie, and a comic series. They even made plushies of all the fighters. Today, Street Fighter is one of the biggest game franchises out there, and it's also one of the most recognizable, which I think just adds on to its legacy. I also think the iconic characters and just overall the easy gameplay really just adds on to Street Fighter. And now to the next game franchise on this video, Tekken. The first game in the Tekken series was released on September 21st, 1994 as an arcade game, and it was later ported to the PlayStation in 1995. Tekken is extremely different from Street Fighter. It features 3D fighting mechanics and 3D character models, which allows for a more intricate movement and positioning. Players can sidestep and utilize a more varied range of attacks, including grapples. As with the 3D movement, the Tekken combo system is also very unique. The juggle mechanic is used to keep combos alive, as well as the rage system, which was introduced in Tekken 6. The rage system gives players a boost when their health is low, allowing for dramatic comebacks. In contrast to Street Fighter's colorful, stylized graphics and animations, Tekken focuses on more realistic character models and environments. Let's dive a little bit more into the history of Tekken. As I said earlier, the first Tekken game was released by Bandai Namco in 1994, and it quickly became a staple in the fighting game community. The series has seen multiple iterations, including Tekken 2, 3, and more recently Tekken 7, which was released in arcades in 2015 and for consoles in 2017. In fact, at the time of this recording, a new Tekken game called Tekken 8 has recently come out for the PlayStation 5. The first Tekken game allowed movements in a 3D space, enabling sidestepping and dynamic positioning during fights. It also allowed players to juggle opponents with juggle combos. The rage system was released in Tekken 6, and even character customization has been added as well. Tekken also boasts a large roster, including iconic fighters like Jin Kazama, Kazuya Mishima and Nina Williams. Some other iconic game mechanics include wall and bound mechanics, which allows players to extend combos against opponents near walls or after certain hits. You also had the Power Crush, introduced in Tekken 7. It allows players to absorb an incoming attack while performing their own, adding another layer of strategy. And while I touched on the characters before, Kazuya Mishima, who is also in Super Smash Bros., is pretty much the main character of the entire series. He's very central to the story, as his conflict with his father, Heihachi, drives much of the story. You also have Nina Williams, who is a fan favorite, known for her assassination background and rivalry with other characters. Tekken also has extremely rich lore, with the extensive backstories of characters contributing to the depth of the series. While Street Fighter focuses on special moves and strategic zoning, Tekken emphasizes 3D movement and their juggle combos. Street Fighter also rewards precision with its execution-heavy gameplay, while Tekken offers more freedom in combo creativity due to its juggle mechanics. Tekken, however, allows players to customize characters extensively, adding a personal touch to gameplay, while Street Fighter focuses more on the unique moves and abilities of each of the characters. Tekken 1 in 1994 focused on 3D movement, as I've said a bunch, and it featured a roster of only 8 characters. It was praised for its graphics and gameplay, becoming a cornerstone in the fighting game genre. Tekken 2 from 1995 expanded the roster to 25 and introduced new gameplay mechanics like throw breaks and improved animations. This is also regarded as one of the best fighting games of all time. Even better than Tekken 2 was Tekken 3, which introduced a faster-paced gameplay experience and new characters, including fan favorites like Jin Kazama and Hwoarang. I actually always have trouble saying his name, so yeah. Tekken 3 refined mechanics and introduced new moves, making it highly accessible for new players while retaining depth for veterans. Tekken 4 from 2001 introduced interactive environments and new gameplay mechanics, including a new directional movement system. It received mixed reviews due to the shift in gameplay focus, but it was praised for its graphics and character designs. Tekken 5 from 2005 returned to the series' roots, combining elements from earlier titles with new mechanics like the Devil Within mode. It also expanded to include many returning characters, along with new additions like Asuka Kazama. Tekken 6 from 2009 introduced a rage system, which allowed characters to unleash powerful moves when they were low on health. It also featured a robust single-player campaign. In Tekken Tag Team Tournament 2, it was a tag team fighting game that allowed players to switch between characters during battles, focusing on cooperative play. Tekken 7, released in 2015, was the final chapter as it concluded the long-running Mishima saga with deep storytelling and character arcs. It also introduced new mechanics, including the Power Crush and the Rage Art systems, which enhanced strategic options in battles. It also received DLC characters and balance patches. Just like Street Fighter having competitive scenes like E3 and EVO, Tekken also has its own competitive scene, with its most famous one being the Tekken World Tour. Similar to Street Fighter, Tekken also has inspired movies, anime series, and comics, expanding its cultural reach. Tekken has also collaborated with other video games to have character crossovers. The most famous one was sending Heihachi from Tekken to Mortal Kombat and putting Scorpion in Tekken. They also did the same thing with Sub-Zero, but Scorpion's better. And there you go. There is the comparison between the two biggest fighting games out there. Yes, I think Tekken is bigger than Mortal Kombat. Overall, the choice between the two often comes down to personal preference. Street Fighter, I think, tends to appeal to the more casual players who enjoy more traditional strategic fighting styles, while Tekken attracts those who appreciate the 3D movement and a more complicated combat system. Both of them have their own unique charms and their own competitive scenes. They're both pillars of the fighting game genre, and with each of them having their own unique characteristics and their gameplay experiences. Their rich histories, iconic characters, and their competitive scenes continue to shape the landscape of gaming today. Whether players prefer the strategic depth of Street Fighter or the dynamic combat of Tekken, both franchises offer something for everyone. They both continue to influence gaming and entertain millions of people around the world every day. Both franchises have evolved significantly since their original releases, as well as they've adapted to player feedback and the changing landscape of video games. Street Fighter has focused on refining its competitive gameplay and its character diversity, while Tekken has embraced 3D movement and the rich storytelling. Each title has left a lasting legacy that I don't think will ever be able to just be competed with, and they both contribute to the enduring popularity of fighting games today. Thank you for watching. This video took a while to do, and it would make me the happiest boy in the world if you were to like and subscribe. And without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna see y'all later. Goodbye!